Good evening, Wildcat Country. My name is Nick Rustin, and I am the new principal at Lake Highlands Junior High. I can't tell you how excited I am to become part of your community and to lead this amazing school. So I really want to connect with you this evening to paint a little bit better picture of what's going to be happening over the next couple weeks. I know that you're anxious to get more information, and one of my goals as principal of Lake Highlands Junior High is to connect with you as much as possible. And I know, yeah, I'm probably long overdue. I'm not connecting as much as I can this week, but just know we're working day and night to prepare for school next Wednesday. So. Before I get into a bunch of the specifics coming up, let me introduce myself first. So first we have my family. This is my amazing wife, Stephanie. We've been together almost 13 years. We have an 8-year-old daughter named Rhiannon. They're my rock. They are my everything. They're my light. You know, uh, Transitioning and becoming a principal can be difficult, but my family has been 100% supportive of my transition, and without them, I couldn't be here and I wouldn't be here. So I look forward for you being able to connect with them as things start to settle down and we start to, you know, hang out and have events and things like that. We all become part of the community. So we're really excited to be here. So let's talk a little bit more about what school is going to look like. So I know that last week you guys had to make a really tough choice. You had to make the choice to send your student to a virtual school that's unknown and unrealized, or to a face-to-face school, your home school that again is a situation that we really don't know what's going to look like once we get back there. But we do know one thing, that it's going to look completely different. So it's really tough to make that kind of choice, and I empathize with you. But I come to you with some good news, and at least our staff here at Lake Highlands feels like it's really good news. So your understanding of the virtual school may have been that if you chose virtual school, then um, that virtual school would be somewhat disconnected from the homeschool. So may have different teachers. So, for us, you may not have Lake Highlands teachers. You may not have students that go to Lake Highlands. It could be a, mix and match of different schools and teachers and students in order to fit the need of what the virtual school entails. And once we saw the numbers for virtual school, conversations started to happen within the schools. And so this week, we were actually given the autonomy um, to take care of our own. And what I mean by that is our staff is so committed to our students that our staff is going to take on the challenge of not only teaching face to face on after September 9th, but also teaching virtual school. So lots of our teachers on campus have committed to taking on sections that are face to face and also taking on sections that are virtual. And so what that means is no matter if you chose virtual school or face to face, you're always going to be part of the Lake Highlands Junior High family. And so that's really exciting because you have to kind of fast forward a little bit. And if you go to the end of the 9 weeks where you have the opportunity to change from face to face or, to virtual, or vice versa, virtual to face. And if things start to settle, or things, hopefully don't get worse, but they could. It's a reality, and so it might be a lot of fluctuation between the virtual school and face to face. But now, since we're going to take care of our own kids, it's almost like a schedule change. So we really feel like by being able to take care of our own, we are truly creating an environment that is the least amount of disruption as possible. Because my heart goes out to a student who, is at home and, may not have a lot of connections with friends at this point, and, you know, uh, may, really miss his school. But, at least if they are in a virtual environment, they can connect with, Lake Highlands staff and other students from Lake Highlands, because no matter where you are, at home or at school will all be one big family. And so that's a really, really exciting thing. But I do want to talk about a couple disclaimers. The elementary and the high school are kind of under a different model. And, the way it looks from junior high to junior high could vary as well. When I speak of this, I speak for Lake Highlands Junior High, and, we're going to do our best to take care of our own students and keep them within our community, whether they're going to be virtually at home or they're going to be with us face to face. And so I know that some of you right now are probably going, well, if I would have known this information before the commitment deadline, I might have made a different choice. And I completely understand that. We want to help you work through that. So we're up against a time crunch, and I know it's Friday evening. But if you've had some additional questions, I've got some contact information at the end of the presentation. So please reach out to us. We're here to work with you. We want to get things done as quickly as possible, but we also want to make sure we're making the right decision for all students. So know that, no one's going to hang the phone up on you, I promise. So give us a call if you have any questions about your commitment, or, you're thinking about making some changes. Just know that we're here to work with you. So speaking of big changes, what's going to be what'll look different, besides the virtual aspect and face-to-face. So one thing about the virtual learning, it's going to look much different than it did last spring. Last spring it was asynchronous, meaning that, kids had different things and different activities to work through in a day. But this year, on a secondary level, everything is synchronous, meaning that they're going to go through a bell schedule each day where they're connecting with their teachers synchronously throughout the day. So it's going to be a lot different, but we feel strongly, as a district and a school, that it's important that kids are getting excellence in teaching and education, no matter if it's in a virtual platform or a face-to-face platform. So one thing that you may be aware of, but you may not, all secondary has gone to an AB block schedule. The high school is a little bit different. It's a modified block. I'm speaking solely for the junior high. The AB block is a pretty simple schedule. One of the reasons behind moving to a block schedule is anticipating face-to-face. And with an AB block schedule, you can minimize the amount of transition time, from 8 passing periods to 4, give or take, with lunch and an advisory, but it minimizes those transitions times in the hallway, thinking about safety and what that's going to look like when we come back to face-to-face. If you're interested, I'm not going to go through all the specifics of the block schedule and what that looks like, but you can go over to our website. You can print that out, talk to your student about what that looks like. But I think it's going to be a really good thing for our school. Another thing is, one of the things you got to wrap your head around, and what students have to wrap their head around, is face-to-face school, if and when we do that, is going to look really, really different. We're going to be going into a lot of the specifics and structures and things and what we're going to do here at Lake Highlands Junior High once we get to face-to-face. But just know, and one of the, you talk with your kids about that. It's going to be tough, but we're going to do, the best we can to make it a positive, inviting environment. But also keep in mind the safety of the students and the staff, to make sure we do what's best for everybody. So let's talk a little bit about, let me move my screen a little bit. Okay, there we go. Let's talk a little bit about what is going to happen on Monday and Tuesday of next week. So if you were able to watch Dr. Stone and Miss Branham's video, you've already got a little bit of idea how you're going to get some information. I just want to make sure we're real specific as to what we're doing here at Lake Highlands, so there's no confusion. So first, schedules should be available on Focus by the end of the day on Monday. Like I said, we're working day and night, and really, Mrs. Laura Parker, our assistant principal, has been working tirelessly to get the schedules going, and working alongside our counselors. But things have been changing, and with change comes having to rethink and redo. So So know that we are working diligently to get those things done as quickly as possible. So know by the end of the day on Monday, we should be good and should have schedules finalized. So if you look on Focus, maybe Saturday or Sunday this weekend, there might be a schedule in there, but it probably isn't when it's going to be final. So just please be patient, give us some grace, and we'll get those schedules finalized by the end of the day on Monday. And again, your best way to get those schedules is through Focus. So if you don't know your login information for Focus, you can go to the RISD webpage, and down at the bottom of the page, there's a Focus icon, which will lead you right through how to get to Focus and get to the schedules and things of that nature. So once the schedules are finalized, the students should receive an email and a phone call from their advisory teacher. So, and their advisory teacher is going to give them their Zoom information for their first day and some more specifics of what's going to happen that day. So, additionally, students are going to receive emails, which will be invites to each of their teachers' Google Classroom. The kids really won't have to do anything with that. It's just going to make the process easier to get them enrolled in their Google Classroom on the first day of school. So we can hop to the first day of school. So let's talk about what's going to happen over the first couple of days. So for the first 2 days, we're going to do what we're calling Wildcat Camp 2.0. And that camp is going to run an altered bell schedule. We're going to start an advisory on the first day and the second day, because that's going to allow us to really rethink what we're, give some clear structures, make sure the kids know what they're doing, where they're going, and they're getting connected. So that altered bell schedule is also on our website. So just make sure you talk with your kids about that. But their advisory teachers on that Wednesday and Thursday morning will make sure they understand what bell schedule they're going to be running those days. But if you want to preview that and look at that with your student, please feel free to jump over to the website and check that out. So, but you're probably going, well, what is Wildcat Camp 2.0? Well, for those returning eighth graders, you may recall that the first couple days of school last year, you did a Wildcat camp where you were introduced to junior high life and what Lake Highlands Junior High is all about, with different activities and connectivity, team building exercises and things of that nature. Well, we're going to do something similar, but we're going to do it from a virtual point of view, because if you're an incoming seventh grader, you may not be as familiar with Chromebooks and Google Classroom and digital learning and such. So what Wildcat Camp 2.0 is going to do is going to help create some foundational skills for our students to help them be prepared for a virtual format. So they're going to be doing really neat, technology-centered lessons throughout those first 2 days. They may be connected to a specific subject, but especially during that advisory time, we're just trying to create the foundation to help kids be successful in a virtual world. So let's talk a little bit about technology. So what do I do if I need internet service or need to get a Chromebook fixed? So first and foremost, guys, if you don't have a Chromebook at this point, if you haven't turned it, switched your iPad in for a Chromebook, make sure you call the school ASAP. We need to get you in here Monday or Tuesday, get the iPad switched out for a Chromebook, and so we can get you ready for Wednesday. If you are having any internet issues, maybe you don't have internet at your house, the district does have hotspots available. So if you need a hotspot, make sure you contact your counselor or administrator, and I'm going to give you everybody's information at the end of this presentation. Make sure you contact us immediately so we can get that over to you, and we can make that happen same day. So make sure that you contact us so we can get that going. As far as Chromebooks go, there's RISD is creating a parent corner with how-to videos and troubleshooting videos. We also have some of those things on our Lake Highlands Junior High site. So if it's malfunctioning, you may be able to walk your way through it. But if it's some kind of physical damage, you're going to have to call the school and set up a time to drop that off, because when school starts, all computer fixes will come through the school, whether we're in a virtual format like we are for the first 3 weeks, or once we move to face-to-face in September, all the Chromebook fixes and things of that nature will come through the school. So how can parents help get their students prepared? First, we really need you to stress to your students that they need to use their school issued Chromebook. There's a couple reasons for that. Number one, for any kind of problem solving or technology issues. If we're using a school device, it's going to be a lot easier on us to be able to help them and fix it. Secondly, from a structure standpoint, we use a program called Go Guardian, so we're able to monitor what the kids are doing to a certain extent. And without that Chromebook, we don't have that luxury. And so, it's going to be really important that we set some structures and we monitor and hold kids accountable. So, using that school issued Chromebook is going to be really important. Another thing is making sure that you charge your Chromebooks. It was just brought to my attention today that when parents picked up Chromebooks last week, they may have gotten the wrong type of cord, because we had two types of Chromebooks, and the newer Chromebooks had a different type of cord. So please double check if you haven't plugged in your Chromebook, logged on. Make sure you've done that, and if it's not charging, make sure you contact the school immediately so we can get you the right Chromebook charger. All right, so I really wanted to focus on virtual and what that looks like, but hopefully we're going to come back to school here in a few weeks, and so I wanted you to just talk about a couple things. Regarding face-to-face. I'm not going to go into a lot of details because there's still lots of planning that has to happen, because it's going to look a lot different. But, I just wanted to kind of put some things in your mind to think about as we head over these next 3 weeks and what face-to-face will look like. So how can you help prepare? Always, get to know that blueprint. RISD has worked tremendously hard to kind of set the standard of what protocols we are going to use when we get to a face-to-face format. So check out that RISD blueprint. And if you go to the RISD homepage, you'll see a link for that, and it'll help you kind of understand where we're headed as a district and as a school. Help your students prepare mentally, because as a young student, you may not see the global picture, the big picture, what it could truly look like for them, because school for a lot of students is a social setting, which is amazing. It's where we build relationships, where we make connections. But the way we build relationships might look a little different because of masks and social distancing and the different structures that we're going to have to put in place in order for everybody to be safe. So the more you prepare your students mentally for that, I think the better it's going to be in the long run. So thinking about that difference with masks, get used to wearing a mask. Kids may go to the store for a little while. They may run a couple errands here and there, but if you think about it, once we get to school, they could be wearing a mask for 6+ hours a day, and that could be difficult. It takes some adjustment. So the more you get used to wearing a mask, the better, because it will be mandatory for all students when we return to a face-to-face format. So thinking about social distancing, we're not going to be able to use lockers this year. And so backpacks are going to be essential for students, but I also think about how you can become a minimalist. We live in a digital world, and so, learning digital organizational tools and really only bringing essentials to school is really going to be ideal, considering that you will have to carry and take with you whatever it is you bring to school. So really think about what's going to be, best to bring to school. So make sure you're having those kinds of conversations. So, as I mentioned, let me move my face out of the way. As I mentioned, here are our important contacts. So we've got all three of our assistant principals with which students they service, our two counselors and which students they service, and then my information there down at the bottom. So, take a screenshot, pause the video, anything you need, please contact us. We're here for you. We want to work through all your questions, all your concerns, because I know that all the information I've given you probably has created more questions than answers, but just know we're here to work through it and work with you. So I want to leave you with one thing. So this week, our and going forward, our theme is uncharted waters, because I think parents, students, staff, education in a whole, as a whole, is all in the same boat. We're all in uncharted waters, unexplored, unrealized waters, and with uncharted waters, there can be lots of challenges and unforeseen situations. But I left the staff with this quote on the first day back. Just beyond the horizon of the so-called impossible is infinite possibilities, because looking at this undertaking that we're doing right now in education in a pandemic, it can seem impossible at times. But just know that we are going to take a positive approach. We are going to do whatever we can to think outside the box to make sure that we create the optimal environment for your kids. And so we're going to make sure that we stay positive, and we understand that even though it's going to be different, we have the possibility to change the way education looks and how we approach it in a positive way. And so we're really excited about that aspect of it. So I can't wait to meet you. I can't wait to connect with you. So please reach out to us if you need or have any questions. Um, so have a great night and a great weekend, and we can't wait to connect with you and your students next week. Thank you.